You know, when you get, I mean, so many bodies in there, it's really tough to tell when it is. You see, his feet are still going, and I think his body is still going forward. Obviously, you know, he gets the ball coming forward. You see, he gets low, and then I don't know. I don't know that I don't know what you count a wiggle.
Here's real speed now. It's one of those. You could call it. You could say forward progress. You could say second effort.
That's what I would call it. Good second effort by Marshall Faulk. He's been a great player for a long time. But when do you think the last time Mike Martz ran 4 plays in a row, called 4 running plays in a row in his life?
From first and goal in the 5? Yeah,
I don't think ever. I mean, no. Anytime. Or maybe at the end of the game.
Yeah. Wilkins to kick off, and it's heading to the sideline. And it just does go out of bounds. And remember, they were working on the other foot, Wilkins' left foot. Don't know if that's bothering him. Michelle, what do you know about that?
Well, that's a sprained left ankle. Now, they've taped it up, as you saw, and we saw earlier in the game, because he was experiencing some discomfort on. That's his plant foot, and it is sprained, but they said he's fine to continue to kick. And while he's been warming up on the sideline all game, guys, he's looked just fine and nodded to his trainers as though he feels just fine.
Well, he doesn't feel fine about kicking that one out of bounds. That's a very costly penalty, especially late in the first half. It sets Tampa Bay up at its own 40-yard line. And they begin this drive, and they have 2 timeouts. Tim Brown is in the game. Working out of the slot. Greasy to the outside. Allstott catches it. And then he's forced out of bounds up to the 46 by Adam Archuleta.
Yeah, you're right about the penalty on that. I think that and pass interference are the 2 biggest penalties in football. I mean, that one is a 40-yard penalty, and the only other place you get a penalty that long is on a pass interference on a deep pass.
Puts you in a position, you pick up a couple of first downs, and you can put 3 up on the board and take the lead into the locker room. 2nd down and 4 up at the 46-yard line. Greasy the other way. That's going to be enough for a first down. Tim Brown, someday to the Hall of Fame, won the Heisman Trophy, spectacular career with the Raiders, but his days there were numbered, and off he went back to his old coach, John Gruden, in Tampa Bay.
You know, look at Tim Brown's hands. How many receivers do you see in the NFL today that don't wear gloves? Tim Brown is one of the few. He tapes each finger, and he thinks that, you know that gives him the strength of his hands to catch the ball, but just seems like every other receiver in the NFL wears gloves.
1st and 10, 49-yard line. Out the flat here, Mike Allstott. And he's out of bounds, close to a first, a little short of it. Aeneas Williams runs him out. 2nd down, less than 1, I think.
I was just saying, you watch Mike Allstott, and when he runs in the open field, he doesn't give you anything to hit. He just gives you shoulders and knees. You know, the Bucs were staying at the same hotel we were today, and I was in the elevator with Mike Allstott, and kind of the elevator, you know, he's built like that. I mean, where all you can hit his shoulders and knees.
He did pick up enough for the first down. Now, the way Larry Nemmers reacted, I think the booth upstairs wants to review the spot. Yeah, I said before they moved the chains that it looked to me as if he was about a half-yard shy of the first. They had to get to the 39-yard line. Take a peek here.
And John Gruden saying, what the heck are they looking at this one for? And they didn't look at the one in the goal line. You can see the yellow line. And again, it's where the ball is when he goes out of bounds. I think that was a little short, don't you?
I think, yeah. I mean, I'm looking up here from, with the naked eye, and it looked as if he came up a little bit short. So again, you can't challenge inside 2 minutes either half. They'll take a look from the booth.
And again, it's not where he steps out of bounds. It's where the ball is when he steps out of bounds. So you can see it in his right hand. The ball is behind. You see his right foot steps out.
Made a first down or didn't.
I don't think he did. I mean, if he has it in his left hand, he has a chance. Right hand, no. John Gruden, he has to worry about his throat. I mean, he's been on chloroseptic and all those lozenges that you take.
Did you see what Allstott did there? In fact, he kind of pulls, as he goes out of bounds, he pulls the ball back.
Yeah.
So the ball is right there. So the ball is going to be spotted back from where he went out.
Yeah, I think he's a yard shy of the first down. Nemo started to talk. John Gruden lost his voice earlier this week. John, I was trying to tell him last night, you have to go from your diaphragm. I mean, he starts it from, like his neck.
Well, you were coaching him up because he was saying that, he has to yell in the plays. He calls all the plays, yells at the officials.
The runner was short of the line to gain. The ball will be put just over the 40-yard line, second down.
And so they did get that one right, but he said he yells the whole game, and then he lost his voice. He thought he was going to have to call one of his other coaches down from the press box to call the plays last week.
He's not a very good student because I told him last night, you start in your diaphragm, and look at him. I mean, this is just the same way he's always, and he's going to be out of, he'll lose his voice by the end of the third period.
Yeah, but he didn't understand what you were saying. I mean, you were trying to tell him that you talk from down here in your stomach.
He said he was going to go back and practice it last night. I'm going to work with Pavarotti next week, by the way.
I'm not sure how you talk from your stomach myself.
I think it's psychological. Second down and 1. And that pass intended for Charles Lee is incomplete. The way I look at it, John, it depends what you eat. Then you can talk from your stomach on occasion.
No, but how do you do it? Seriously.
Well, I mean, you just think about it. I mean, it's psychological. You want to believe that it begins here. You take a deep breath, and then
I didn't understand what you were telling him, and I don't think he understood.
Third down and 1. Mike Allstott, 2 for 3 this year, 6 for 6 last year in these situations. And Allstott takes it to the 36-yard line. It's like going to a psychiatrist or a psychologist. There's a lot of snake oil stuff in that. Well, here's Gruden calling plays. You can get a sense of all of the talking that he does during a game.
Scatter to triple left, U short. Spider 2 Z banana X over. Tell him heads up for Freddie. Give me trips right tight. Zebra left. 58 delta. Zebra choice. Far west right slot. X short. 200 jet smoke. X choice.
That is a lot of verbiage.
That's a lot of verbiage.
And I'll tell you, if you have to bring all that up from your stomach,
right,
you may not get it back down there to get it started again. But Brian Griese was saying last night that that's so tough. The quarterback in this offense has to tell everyone what to do.
Well, that's complicated. And think of what Martz's offense is like.
You see John Gruden's playlist there. The red ones are the ones that he likes best.
Let's see what he likes here with 77 seconds remaining. First and 10.
Looks like he likes confusion.
They have one timeout. Griese rolling, and he's going to throw it out of bounds. Second down and 10.
If you look at this play card here, you can see all the red again. Everything is broken down into plays. I mean, first and 10, second and long, third and short, goal line, red zone, plays for guys, and all that stuff. And then the ones that he really likes, he does red. He said he red lights them. And then I asked him if he changes them. He said no, the ones that he has red lighted last night on Sunday night will stay red lighted tonight.
He needs a voice coach and reading glasses. Second down and 10. Taken by Charles Lee, who gets tackled at the 30-yard line. Lee slow in getting up.
One thing we talk about the offensive lines and giving the quarterback time. Tampa Bay's offensive line has done a very good job for Brian Griese and giving him time, and he's getting the ball down the field. It's not that all that three-step drop and, and getting the ball out of there. He's taking five-step drops. He's setting, he's looking, he's throwing. He's getting the ball more up the field than I can remember this pass offense.
Lee is down, and in this situation, the Bucks are compelled to take a timeout, which they do, and that's their final one. So it's 3rd down and 4 now. Coming up at the 30-yard line, if they gain nary a yard, it'll be a 48-yard field goal attempt.
That has to be one of those artificial turf injuries where you get your foot caught in the turf, and then as he twists, the foot is planted and caught, and the only thing that can give is a joint.
And that's what happens. And for the Bucks, I mean, it's been so tough for them in terms of their receivers. If you would have made out a depth chart before training camp, it would have had Joey Galloway, who got hurt on opening day. He'll be back maybe in a couple of weeks. Keenan McCardell, who is still holding out and I suppose could be traded before the deadline tomorrow. Joe Jaravicius had surgery and they expect him to come back. Ricky Dudley is the tight end. Charlie Garner, who they picked up, the former 49er and Raider, was hurt in the game against Oakland, so he's gone for the season. So you take a look at those guys. I mean, Garner was going to be his key back. Bruce Allen had been in Oakland and came over to be the general manager in Tampa Bay. Gruden brought Allen with him after he comes from Tampa. Rich McKay found a home. Rich had been in Tampa Bay, goes to Atlanta, where he's met with great early success. Lee goes walking off the field, and Gruden talks to Nemmers with a 3rd down and 4 coming up.
You saw those two top guys in the list, Charlie Gardner and Joey Galloway. That was the speed that John Gruden wanted to put in this offense. He felt that, that they needed, he calls it juice. They needed some juice. And he said Joey Galloway, when he saw, practicing in training camp, and he had him just the first part of the first game, and he said he was something special. He said he's never worked with a wide receiver like Joey Galloway.
Well, he's going to get him back shortly, but right now, Clayton has been the guy. All these injuries gave Clayton the opportunity, and he's been very good. 4 grabs tonight for 83 yards. 3rd and 4. Greasy throws underneath, and that's going to lose yardage. Ken Dilger, the tight end, is tackled at the 33, so they lose about 3 yards, and now Gramatica will come in and boot a field goal of about 48 yards.
It's from that same hash mark where you see it's from the right hash mark, so you have to hook it in a little. The last one, Martin Grammatical hooked in too much.
And there's no doubt about that one.
You have to hook it, but you don't have to hook it that far, do you?
That's out of bounds.
That's the thing, the right-footed kicker on the right hash mark, you have to bring it in, so you're trying to do that, and sometimes you overdo it.
He's lying 2, hitting 3 now from the 38.
Never had that problem. I usually go the other way. Watch, the snap was a little inside and low. I think the hold is okay. I mean, he just, that's more of a shank, I think, than a hook.
Shank. The snap did skip along the ground. It's 1st and 10 now. The Rams have 2 timeouts left as they try to at least get into field goal range from the 38-yard line against the 4-man Tampa Bay pass rush. Little dump underneath. Marshall Faulk across the 50, trying to get out of bounds to save the timeout, and he does to the 46 with 12 ticks. 16-yard pickup.
That's what always impresses me about a screen pass. When you get a big offensive lineman like Scott Tucero out here, the guard, just watch him, and then being able to get out there, but then hit a guy in the open field right here. You'll go get a guy, get square on him. That's about as tough a block as an offensive lineman has to make, is open field on a screen against a smaller guy.
18,000 total yards for Marshall Faulk, 5th player in the NFL to do that. Timeout is now taken by the Rams.
Ladies and gentlemen, we proudly welcome to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Al Michaels.
Hey, congratulations. That was great. The Walk of Fame, and you got your star there, and you look happy as heck. Linda?
Linda looks
family?
happy. Yeah.
How did you feel right there?
You know what? You get out there, you're just happy to be alive. I mean, you're walking up and down, and I mean, Douglas Fairbanks and Nat King Cole were there, and all those, you know, legends. This is the first step toward Forest Lawn, I guess, but it was
No,
it's
not. I mean, it's a great honor.
It was a great thrill.
Yeah,
it was a great
and
thrill.
you could tell, you know, how proud you were and how proud your family was, and those are special moments that, you know, that you deserve, you've earned, and you're going to cherish.
Well, I thank you, John. A lot of it has to do with I've had some pretty phenomenal partners through the years, and you're right at the top of that list. As McDonald makes the catch at the 38-yard line. That's an honor you don't want posthumously, I'll tell you that.
No, but getting that and being honored is, you know, for what you've done for all these years.
Well, I think it's a labor of love, as I'm sure it's been for you as well,
right.
Coaching and broadcasting.
Doesn't get much better than it. Doesn't get any better than this.
I want to come back in the next life. 2nd down and 2 from the 38-yard line. Bolger. And that's out of bounds with 3 seconds, so they couldn't work the ball into field goal range unless you want to go for a 56-yarder, which he may do.
They're bringing Wilkins in here. Now, we know that he has a bad ankle, and there's only 3 seconds here. I would bet it's a fake. I mean, there's no way that they're going to try and kick this. This has to be a fake, and Wilkins will throw it or do something like that.
Well, they were fooling around with that in practice the other day.
Right, and Dane Looker is the holder, and I think they throw it somehow to Dane Looker.
Well, timeout is called because the Bucks all compress in.
It's like the Bucks knew it, wasn't it? Because there was no one back at all. The Bucks had all 11 guys right up at the line of scrimmage.
Bunched together. They were squished together.
And Dane Looker was a holder, and he saw that look, and I'm sure that it was a fake, and he knew it was going to be a fake, and he called it off. Here's a look. He has 11 guys up here. Looker's looking, you know, where are we going to run this surprise play that we're going to run? Didn't see it. Just takes a timeout. Now they could have, you know, like the old basketball thing. You show them, you see how they're going to line up, then you take a timeout, make the call. This still could be a fake.
Inbounds it. And no, Wilkins is going to kick it, but it's well short. So Wilkins missing, and that's the way the half will end. Rams capitalize on a late break after the fumble by Tampa Bay. We're tied at 14. And coming up next, the Toyota halftime show, and we come back after this message from the NFL and a word from our ABC stations.
The Toyota halftime show, brought to you by Toyota. Choose any direction as long as it's moving forward. Here now, Al Michaels.
Halftime at the Jones Dome in St. Louis, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, trying to win their 2nd in a row, are tied with the St. Louis Rams 14-14 at halftime. Well, the New England Patriots, as you know, over the past 2 seasons, counting postseason, have won 20 in a row, but everybody on the Patriot roster is fair game, and the man in the crosshairs, the defensive lineman, Richard Seymour. He's been sacked.
Hello, America. I'm Troy Brown, wide receiver from the New England Patriots. And today I'm sacking the king of sacks, my teammate, Richard Seymour.
Okay, here's the game plan. Richard agreed to donate $3,000 to a Boston Pop Warner football squad. At the check signing, he's asked to pay not $3,000, but $3 million. The
mayor of Boston is in on it, so are the kids and Richard's wife. Watch as Richard squirms until Troy Brown makes the sack. Let the ceremony begin.
I would hope that more professional athletes will follow Richard's example because he knows what it means to give back. And at this time, I would like to invite Richard up here for the unveiling of the check. Come on up here, Richard. Check is spectacular. Thank you, Richard. $3 million. $3 million. $3 million.
Be mad at me.
Talk to the mayor.
It had to be a misunderstanding.
A misunderstanding?
No, I didn't get no right.
There's no misunderstanding here. Make a speech. Speech.
Well, first of all, I just want to say, I want to, it's
Oh, man.
I'm not sure, about the money issue with this, but we'll work out all of that. The time is more important than any amount of money that you can get.
You sign the check, Richard?
No, I can't sign that check. We'll talk about
I know he ain't signing that check.
Well, we got a pen. If he won't sign the check, right, we have somebody who's going to support him, one of his teammates, Troy Brown.
What's up, Doc? Good job, man. Here you go, Doc.
When I know that Pop Warner, it requires a lot of money to keep the programs up and running. And with this $3 million, I think you guys have been in business a long time. And with that being said, I think I'm going to retire from the New England Patriots and join the Mattapan Patriots.
Hey, let me talk. Can I talk with you for a second? Now, I tell them it was,
Richard, I've been knowing you for a long time, man. And I know you've had a lot of sacks throughout your career. But my friend, you've just been sacked on Monday Night Football.
Y'all set me up,
Richard Seymour has just been sacked on Monday Night Football.
How about what's going on with the Minnesota Vikings? Last night against the Saints, Dante Culpepper threw 5 touchdown passes. You knew Randy Moss would be in the mix, but he strained his hamstring, came out, and they'll talk about him later in the week as to whether he can play. Robinson making that grab right there. Minnesota wins the game 38-31. Third time, John, this season, Culpepper's thrown 5 touchdown passes in the game. To put it in a little perspective, Johnny Unitas never had a 5 touchdown game. We've been talking about a lot of the quarterbacks this year, but nobody's been more spectacular than Dante.
No, and he's just in one of those zones. You just watch him there, and he can do it all ways. He can drop back and throw it. He can roll out and throw it. He can start to run and stop and throw it. And he has great receivers, a good offensive line, but so much of it is him. He weighs 265 pounds, and sometimes a free rusher comes, they just can't get him to the ground.
3 weeks from tonight, you know what it will be? Indianapolis.
That'll be a good one.
Minnesota, Indianapolis, Culpepper, Manning. Meanwhile, second half ready to begin here, 14-14.
You're not ready, baby. You got nothing.
Al Michaels, John Madden, Michelle Tafoya. St. Louis started the third quarter. Good first half. Tampa Bay and St. Louis locked up at 14. American League Championship Series. Game 5 went 14 innings, and the Red Sox stay alive. Send it back to New York with the Yankees on top 3-2 there. And now Wilkins to kick off. Torrey Cox, who had a nice run back in the opening half, will accept this one at the 11-yard line. Cox out past the 40. And again, he gets into Ram territory. So 2 good run backs. And Jeff Wilkins forces him out of bounds. 44-yard return. And let's go to Michelle.
Well, Al, Mike Martz told me that his concern on defense is tightening the coverage on those short passes Tampa is completing to keep their drives alive. Leonard Little will be there to help him. He dislocated his thumb, but he's back on the field and ready to play. As for Tampa, John Gruden told me, hey, our offense isn't chopped liver. We're just finally getting the hang of things with all these new faces. But one of those faces, Charles Lee, has a right knee sprain, and his return is questionable here tonight, Al.
So Lee is out. The big guy on the receiving end was Clayton, who caught 4 for 83, the LSU rookie. And now Greasy gets set up at the Ram 46-yard line. They'll begin with a play fake, flushed out, and then finally has to throw it away. Leonard Little put the pressure on. Nobody was open. Secondary did its job. And in this game, as we take a look at the numbers, the Rams coming in 3-2, the Bucs coming in 1-4. Neither team establishing too much on the ground. Greasy's been very effective with 152 passing yards, and that one turnover for the Bucs was huge, leading to a Ram 5-yard touchdown drive. If you want to call that a drive, you set them up first and goal at the 5, and they went in on 4 runs. Second down and 10 from the 46-yard line. Pittman swinging to the outside, turns the corner, gets dumped at the 44-yard line. 3rd and long to come.
Yeah, we always talk about the tackling in this league and then how bad it's been. I'll say this, in this game tonight, the tackling has been very good, and I ought to be talking from my stomach.
No Chloraseptic. Charles Lee is back in the game with that sprained knee. 3rd and 8. It's the 3rd time tonight the Bucs have begun a drive in Ram territory in 5 games this season. Prior to tonight, they'd had only 1 such drive. And Greasy on 3rd and 8, and the ball was tipped. Intended for Clayton, and just getting a hand on it was Jeremetrius Butler to deflect it.
That was one of the things that the Bucs thought that they could do is when the Rams play cover 2, they didn't think that this corner rides the wide receiver deep enough. Jeremetrius Butler did that time. And again, they're trying to hit him in that hole between the corner, the short guy, and the deep guy, the safety. The safety didn't get over, but Butler just got back to make a play.
You know, looking at on that replay, I'm not even sure he touched it. Bidwell's kick will roll to a halt at about the 15-yard line. I think that Clayton, the way Clayton reacted, he thought that Butler had tipped it. In any event, the Rams have the football. Star Trek for the St. Louis Rams. Bolger with 147 yards. Marshall Faulk's been limited on the ground tonight. Holt made that 52-yard reception. And 3 other grabs for him. Big play, Torrey Holt. Got the Rams off to a quick start, but Tampa hanging right with him and then cutting back after starting to the right side is Falk, turning it into a nice game and about a yard shy of the first down.
You know why he cut it back? Because Simeon Rice overran it. Simeon Rice wasn't blocked, and he comes down the line. You see him right here. He comes down the line here. Marshall Faulk looks. He over pursues it. Now, when Simeon Rice has to be the outside guy, when he's not there, then Marshall Faulk knows where to go. See him here. He comes down. Everyone gets in flow. Marshall Faulk feels it, and he goes back to the area they left.
2nd and 2 from the 23-yard line. Faulk probing the left side. Comes up a yard shy of the first down. Haven't mentioned Derek Brooks' name all that much tonight, but Derek Brooks, the kind of guy you just bank on him. I mean, he has a long streak in progress right now, a guy who never misses a game. In fact, 134 consecutive starts for that man, who's had some brilliant nights on Monday Night Football. Scored a touchdown after an interception in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you're right. We haven't heard much about Derek Brooks tonight. And the other guy was a guy that I just mentioned, Simeon Rice. Of course, part of that is Orlando Pace. I mean, you talk about the best offensive linemen in football, or some of them. Orlando Pace is one of those guys.
Rams are going to take a timeout prior to 3rd and 1. So after the timeout, in a game that is tied, and a game that is very, very important as Tampa Bay tries to get back into a position where they can contend in the NFC South. Rams trying to move into first place alone in the NFC West. Steven Jackson is the running back, and it's 3rd and 1 from the Ram 24-yard line. And they give it to the rookie, and he picks up the first down. Does the 240-pound Steven Jackson. NFL pass rating. Give you an idea, 158.3 is perfection. If you're at 100, that's tremendous. That's Hall of Fame stuff. 90, very good. 80, fine. 70 is about average, and 60, come see me. The offensive coordinator will tell you. And there are the numbers for tonight. 91.5 for Greasy, and Bulger close to 70. 1st and 10. Joey Goodspeed. Jeff Gooch with the tackle after a gain of 8. And there are the numbers tonight. Yardage about even. Each guy has thrown a touchdown pass, and there are the ratings up to the moment.
You know, and I think the big thing is neither quarterback has thrown an interception. And I know that in both offenses, that's very important. More important probably in the Tampa Bay, because they're more of a ball control type of thing. But when a quarterback can learn, if you don't have something, throw it away, that's a big step.
2nd and 2, and the heat is on, and the pass is caught by Jackson in the backfield. And he gets a yard to set up another 3rd and 1. 2nd in a row for the St. Louis Rams.
I was talking to Marshall Falk the other day about Mark Bulger, and he said one of the things that he has so much respect for him is that he will take it. You know, one of the best things a quarterback can say when he comes off and he throws an interception is "my fault." It's one of the toughest things to say, but that's what Mark Bulger did last week. He threw an interception. Mike Martz is saying to him, "Did you wrong cut? Were you being pushed? Was anything?" He goes, "No, it was just my fault." And I'll tell you, other players, teammates really respect that.
3rd and short 2. And Jackson does not, at least for the moment, appear to have made it. I think they're going to come up a little bit shy of the 36-yard line. Larry Nemmers is going to bring the chains in. But as you can tell, that yellow line is not official, but it's close enough.
Right, and if it is short, that's when you have to punt. I mean, there's, you know, it looks short. You know, we ought to go for it here, but in this situation, 3rd quarter, score tied at home in this field position, you can't afford to go for it.
Of course, the crowd always wants you to go for it.
No, and that's the easiest thing to do. You know, people say, "Oh, you know, he didn't have any guts, he didn't go for it." Sometimes it takes more guts to stand like that and leave it just a few inches and say, "Punt the doggone thing." That takes more guts than to say, "Yeah, you know, getting caught in the spirit. Yeah, go for it." You know, I mean, that's easy to do.
Especially in a situation like this, you really can't even think about it. Leondetta kicking, and that is down at about the 2 by Dwight Anderson. So you have the oldest punter in the history of the NFL, but there's also a flag down, and he was punting to the oldest punt returner in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, I wonder if Anderson went out of bounds and came back
20
in.
Was out of bounds.
Yeah.
Came back in and was the first to touch the ball. On the kicking team, that's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat, 4th down.
What a killer.
Yeah, he can go out of bounds as he's covering, but when you see an official without a hat, that's usually what the call is. You see Anderson here, he's out of bounds. Now, he's okay doing this, but he can't be the first guy to touch the ball. He can't down it. And when you saw that official throw the hat, you know that someone went out of bounds and came.